John chapter 4 and verse 7. A woman of Samaria came to draw water. Jesus had gone out of his way to that specific well. He's sitting on the edge of the well. Woman comes out in the middle of the day. You know what I find interesting? As we seek Jesus, He finds us at the most interesting times. You know, something I love about Him is He ain't never late. And He ain't never early. He shows up right on time. Some of us need to be encouraged this morning because just when you thought He couldn't be found, He'll find you. And if this story has any merit, the God of the universe will go out of His way to find you. You may be listening to me saying, well, I don't know if He's found me yet. Well, don't look now. But you might be in the right place at the right time. He found her regardless of what her past had been. Don't miss this. The truth brings peace because He was in the past. And He brings hope because He's in your future as well. But don't you miss this. The truth finds you in the present because that's where He saves you. I can't help myself, Miss Marsha. I was trying to save this till next week, but I feel like I need to say it anyway. Tomorrow is full of potential, but it has no power. Tomorrow has potential, but it has no power. Today, on the other hand, is full of power. Why? Because today I can be found. Today I can choose. Today I can change. Right now, today I can sing. Today I can read. Today I can pray. Today I can choose to serve and choose to love. I need to let you know something today, that when the truth finds you in the moment, that is the power of eternity colliding with your will in the present. And when you surrender to it, your life can be changed forever because there's power in the moment, and that power has come to save you. And so I find it interesting that Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." The truth comes into your life, and many times the truth is waiting behind a door of simple obedience. He didn't say, "Give me $1,000." For some of us, that's simple. Okay, maybe not. For some of you over here, it may be simple to give $1,000, but He didn't come and say, "Give me $1,000." He said, "Let me borrow your bucket. Let me borrow your ladle. I want something to drink." The person, the truth, the person of the truth, He may find you by simply saying, "Pray, sing, read." And all that is required is for you to obey. He may be waiting on you, and He may shake you at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday and lean over and go, "Get up, let's go to church." And all you need do is simply obey. And here's something I love about the person of truth. He never demands. He invites. Will you give me something to drink? When has Jesus ever demanded of you? Can I submit an idea to you that if He demanded something of you, you couldn't handle it? I don't believe that human flesh is capable of bearing a demand from Almighty God. It evaporates you. It'd crush you. It'd turn you into liquid or smoke. Verse 9. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman?" Because Jews and Samaritans, we don't have no dealings. We don't get along and we don't talk to each other. You know what I find interesting is that the truth walked into her life. All he asked for was a drink of water. As far as we can tell, he didn't get the water. She said back to him what? A narrative. You know what she just said to him? My color and your color don't get along. People who like your kind of music, my kind of music, we don't get along. People who eat your food and eat my food, we don't get along. Why are you even talking to me? What is that? Cultural narrative. People who vote like you and who vote like me, we don't get along. That's a narrative. But the narrative, no pun intended, don't hold no water when the person of the truth walks into the room. Jesus answered her in verse 10, and he said to her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is who says to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." What is Jesus saying to her? I have something more for you than narrative. So if what I have is living, then that means what you have is dead. He says, your dead thing don't do nothing for me. Your narrative doesn't do, the history don't do for me, because I have living water. Did you know something? That when the truth comes into your life, He's not giving you an answer. He is the answer. Some of us would find much more peace in our faith if we kept trying to use our faith to manufacture answers for all the questions that the world has. If we would just rest in, my faith is that I know the person who He is the answer. So sometimes I don't know the answer to things like racial inequality, but I know the man who does. He doesn't have an answer. He is the answer. Verse 11, the woman said to him, "Sir, you ain't got nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. And so where are you going to get this living water?" She hasn't understood yet that Jesus is talking about something to do with the Spirit. In verse 12, "Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and livestock?" So she gave a cultural narrative, but now she's giving a historical and racial narrative. And so we're different because way back, Jacob, we split apart way back there. And so you don't have nothing to reach in there, and are you greater than him who dug the well? And she don't know, she about to get her world rocked. Lord have mercy. Jesus answered to her and says, "Whoever drinks this water, he'll thirst again. But whoever drinks the water that I give will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw." Let me teach you a secret about the person of the truth. He has to draw you in. Because if He give it to you all at once, you'd miss it. Do you see how Jesus is drawing her in by talking about water? And she hasn't figured out yet exactly what He's saying. The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw." Notice something. Now we know this, many of us who we've heard this story preached and we've heard this story taught. We ain't going to make 11:30, but we're getting real close. Whoever's heard this story preached and taught before knows this, that she came during the middle of the day because she was a woman of low repute. And she didn't want to come in the morning with the other women and have to face their scrutiny. Can all the women in the room who've ever had difficult gossiping, backbiting, slandering, gossiping, manipulating, co-working women with you, will you just wave your hand and wave at me and say, "I know what that feels like, that you couldn't pay me enough money to go in there and face Tina and Tammy"? I'd rather go in the middle of the day and sweat. My hair's all sweaty, but I'd rather go and sweat than have to go face Tina and Tammy. If you're a Tina or a Tammy, may God bless you and keep you and cause His countenance to shine upon you. So what was she saying? If you could give me water that I won't never be thirsty again, so I won't have to come down here and face them people and face myself, that'd be great. But let me teach you something. Do not miss this. The person of the truth doesn't come to numb the pain. I think you may have missed that. Meantime, we'll say, well, I want the truth so it'll make the pain go away. But here's what I've learned about following the person of the truth is that it may get worse before it gets better. And that when you go to dealing with the truth, right when you think it can't cut you no deeper, you better take a deep breath, because He's going to get some more out of you than what you bargained for. Because truth doesn't come to change our circumstances, it comes to change us. And so she is struggling to connect the dots. But Jesus is about to cut through the riffraff, as it were. He's about to cut through narrative. He's about to cut through history. He doesn't care who her daddy is. He doesn't care what the lineage says. He doesn't say what the politicians are saying. And I'm going to challenge you, He don't even care what they're saying over at synagogue. Because the person of the truth has shown up, and He has gone out of His way to find this one busted woman, and He cuts through all of that with this simple question, or this simple command: go and find your husband. Tell him, come here. Oh boy. Don't miss it. I don't care about Jacob. I don't care about wells and water. I don't care about Samaritan or Jews. I want to know, where's your husband? Because He wants to get down to the real issue. Don't miss this. The truth comes to touch on the real issues of our life. This woman's problem was not that she was a Samaritan. This woman's problem was not which well she drank from or what side of the border that she lived on. This woman's issue was what she says here in a second: I have no husband. So notice this though, Jesus does not berate her. He's not there to humiliate her. He will look at the truth, touch the truth, talk about the truth, but why? Because He comes in love, seeking our best interest.